One. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Slash Chat Podcast. Hi.
Hello. Hey.
We are currently doing another guest episode because fuck Carthnell. He's not here.
Oh. Fired.
Yeah. Carthnell's not here, so. And I'm like, I'm not doing a show with only 3 people. We can't fill 2 hours. So we have a special guest with us tonight who is currently not. I have to change that.
You gotta mess with the layout anyway, so
Carthnell is fired. Of course, I go through my entire rundown and I'm like, is everything okay? No, it's not, because now your information's up to date. Yay!
Yay, there we go.
So, we have PanikKontrol with us. Panic, tell us about you.
I'm PanikKontrol, a Twitch streamer, and I kind of want to be a YouTuber, but I'm not, so I'm not going to say that I'm a YouTuber. Twitch streamer, obviously, PanikKontrol. I obviously am in black and white. Yeah, I'm like, people are like, Panic, why are you in black and white? Let's just get this out right now. I know. My camera's not broken. It's fine. This is my shtick, right? My chat teases me about not having a heart or a soul, so we just appropriately colorize myself and call it good that way. But yeah, full-time Twitch streamer, variety caster, I guess you would say, personality caster. Yeah, other than that, I like Red Bull. Product placement. That's about it.
get her a sponsor on her channel.
By the way, I just totally realized that Jeremy text and Alex text needs to be switched. There we go.
Swap.
So, Jason, you do the things. You do Bangcaster. Bang Panic right now.
Jason, please, just bang me.
So, here on Slash Chat Podcast, we talk about what we've been doing this week as our little introductions. And usually we always start with Alex, but seeing that we have a guest, we're going to start with the guest. And essentially it's, what have you been doing this week? That's it.
On stream or off stream?
Both.
Okay. So for me this week has been one of those weeks on Twitch. Everybody has one of those weeks, and it's taught me a lot about continuing to push that go live button, even though you sometimes don't really want to, because for me it puts me in a better mood. So I learned that my channel, well, I already knew this, but I was reinforced with the idea that my channel community is fucking amazing, and that as a caster, sometimes you have to go live when you don't want to. So there's a lot of personal growth for me there, sort of on the offline realm, as I was, real life stuff that happens. But on the stream, I found a game on Sunday that I got Kat to buy.
Oh my god, I had nightmares of it yesterday.
You had nightmares, really?
What'd you do?
Okay, so
I want to know.
I hate the ocean. I hate it. I hate water. I hate everything that has to do with things that are liquidy.
Yeah, of course you hate water.
Like, I hate it. So, of course, I find, like, the current biggest fish in the sea in the game so far. And it happens to be a bone shark, by the way.
What game is this?
This is
Subnautica. It is an early access Steam game. It's only about $20 right now. Normally, I would say that I would discourage anybody from doing early access because I hate the premise of it, and I've railed against it. That said, this is probably one of virginity. So this is one of 3 early access games that I can think of that I would say, yes, go buy this, because these people need money, because this is a fantastic game.
What's it called?
Okay.
Subnautica.
That sounds familiar for some reason.
So yeah, I ran into the bone shark because I put my base at the very, like, bottom of the ocean in, like, this giant open area, because I'm like, oh, I've been picking up silver, I've been picking up titanium, I'm like, this will be a great area to, like, farm in.
Can I say that's brave? Like, I would put mine, like, with something, it makes no sense, but I would put something with, like, a cliff behind me to give myself a false sense of security. Like, okay, nothing can sneak up on me. This is great.
Underwater survival game.
So yes. The premise of the game is you're on a mothership. Like, if you've seen Wall-E, the big ocean liner space cruiser they have, that thing crashes and you're the only one who gets into an escape pod and makes it to a planet. And the planet, as far as you can tell, is completely water. And you're in a tiny little escape pod that has minimal crafting ability, and you basically have to survive in the open ocean, which is
looks cool. It's kind of
terrifying. Terrifying. It's so terrifying. Anyways, Bone Shark, right?
Yeah, so I made my base literally in this middle of this giant open water. There's like this one little like tower that comes up, and then it's just this bowl, like a huge bowl. And you can't really see because it's, I think, like 300 some underwater. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I got my base going. I'm gonna put this generator down. Oh, shit. Like, I get, like, taken, literally, like, underneath of me, my character goes up, I get, like, almost eaten, I start freaking out, I run into my base, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? My heart was just like, oh my god. It's actually on YouTube right now, and all I could say is, what the fuck, what was that? What the fuck just happened? And then, of course, because of that, I had a dream last night that it happened, and I drowned.
I have a lot of dreams about underwater, so.
People ask me about, like, what are your fears? And it's like, and spiders and whatever else. But for me, the idea, like, I could never go scuba diving if it was in somewhere that was dark. And, like, I could go snorkeling, I could go scuba diving in tropical water where I can see. But once it gets cold and dark, the idea of being in the open ocean is just objectively terrifying.
I bet you loved Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah. So when I was playing this game on Sunday, I found a shelf where, like, there's a shelf, and then there's a huge drop off, and so I was like, all right, I'm gonna get some balls, and I went down there, and then I found a cave down there, and the cave went down for hundreds and hundreds of meters into this black abyss of, like, I knew that I was still into a cave, but I couldn't see the bottom of anything, and it was. I have not been. Yeah, it was. But the game is amazing. It's not. The game is not procedurally generated at all. The terrain is mapped, like they have map makers for the thing, but the spawn points are random, and a lot of the materials that you can collect are random as well. So you'll spawn around the map and things like that, and like you can end up back in areas that you've been before, but the way that they give you the materials and sort of the randomness is generated that way. And you can build submersibles, and you can build underwater sea bases, and they want to add multiplayer eventually. Anyways, that was the game that made a big impression on me. Wrapping it back around, this Sunday was Subnautica. I started a segment with a friend. We're calling ourselves the Survivalists. It's just every Sunday we play some sort of a survival game. What?
Gabi is saying, is he talking about a game or how awesome his life is?
No scuba diving. No scuba diving. No scuba diving. That is funny. But so Subnautica, and then I'm still doing on stream, I'm still doing my Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin fist only.
They fixed that freaking bug. They finally fixed that stupid bullshit bug that shouldn't have been there. The degradation?
Yeah. Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't know, in Dark Souls 2, there was a bug that happened primarily with PC, and it was, for some reason, it was tied to the frame rate, where your stuff degrades twice as fast because the frame rate went from 30 to 60, which, weird. Anyways, so I've been doing a fist run, which is like, in this weapon you can get swords and magic and all this stuff. I took a challenge where I'm only punching everything in the game to death. Bosses, doesn't matter. And so I'm still in the process of fisting, I guess, you could call it. Oh my. Just fisting everything in Dark Souls as a challenge run, and then obviously Bashi After Dark, taking the Bashi challenge as well. I'm a little bit masochistic apparently, so that's been my week, is being objectively terrified of dark open ocean and punching things in the face.
Sounds like a good week.
Yeah.
Alex, can you top that week?
Probably not. First of all, can you hear me okay?
You're still a little lower than normal. I don't know why, because normally you're blaring at me.
What?
Normally you're blaring at me.
I just need to talk louder.
Louder.
Okay. It's been a pretty solid week. My family came in for my grandpa's birthday, so I wasn't able to stream on Saturday. But I did stream yesterday, kind of continuing the Persona stream. We've been cranking out a lot of the Let's Play episodes for the Let's Play channel. We have starting a new one. Since after the Sonic Boom debacle, we decided, okay, let's play a different game. And we were kind of discussing what to do. And I was just like, oh, I got Shadows of the Damned for PlayStation 3, and I've never played it before, and I want to. So I'm just like, sure, I'll go for it. So we started playing it. First episode's up on the channel. We're still doing Scott Pilgrim, still doing the Banjo-Tooie. So we have one more that we're going to start when Scott Pilgrim's done. That's currently in the wings. That'll be launched when the Scott Pilgrim thing's done. Other than that, it's been I started this new anime series that I've been hearing about, and I'm thinking it's called like Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
That sounds eerily similar to The Devil's a Part-Timer. It seems like that premise of like wacky shtick anime. No?
Well,
oh god.
I mean, I heard about this a long time ago, and I'm just like, what is this? I keep hearing people talk about it, and they keep posting pictures of what's her face, and I'm just like, okay, what is this? Yeah, I'm like, I've seen people draw Tomoko from Watamote in her outfit, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So I finally started watching it, and I'm about 2 episodes in, and it's still going. It's still simulcasting. And I'm like, first of all, this is a piss poor protagonist. He's worse than Kirito. He is such a freaking dumb, lame Mary Sue. Get him out of my face.
I like Kirito for what he is.
It looks like sword art. I mean, the art design looks like sword art, and the main character's like sword art, and he's getting a harem like sword art, and it's all fantasy dungeons like sword art. And I'm like, these people were watching sword art, and it's based on a light novel like sword art. So then we start. Really I start like, okay, there has to be something good here. I mean, I know this guy's getting a harem, but come on, give me something that is interesting here. So then we get to the female lead, who I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is lolly bait. What is with this creature? There is no reason that a girl who looks like she's 14 should look like that. That is wrong. I'll keep watching.
Because we all know you like your lollies.
No. I mean, the thing with Hestia, I mean, the whole deal of this is that, the guy goes into a dungeon and he gets saved. He gets his ass saved by a girl. This stoic warrior girl. And apparently in this deal that every adventurer or explorer, I don't even know what they're called, is aligned to some sort of deity, is sort of a servant to a deity. And his deity apparently is this lolly bait girl who likes him, but he doesn't know that. But he likes another girl, and apparently she, in order to help him get the other girl, gives him a gift that the more he likes the other girl, the stronger he gets, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's powered by lust.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's
so the more this goes on, I'm like, this guy's gonna get a harem, and already there's all these other girls crowding around him. But I'm like, okay, this female lead is at least funny. I mean, you can see that at least she has a bit of character. This main character, Belle, is a piece of shit, and I think he's annoying, and I'm tired of lame. I'm tired of just these stupid, completely unlikable idiot characters.
I like him. I like
having
him
all of these harem girls, because I'm like, what do they see in this fucker?
He's not conceited. He's not like, look at me, I'm badass in my shiny armor.
But he's
they're like, ooh, I could rape you.
What? I heard I could.
Well, we know what cat's into now.
Ended in the assonance A.
What just happened? Something fell. Cthulhu fell. No, Cthulhu, come back.
So I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I think I could see this through. I mean, I ended up liking Amagi Brilliant Park. Finished up Log Horizon. It ended okay. I mean, just like you got to get a 3rd season. Whatever. Continue watching the. I can't understand what my husband is saying, and I'm trying to think if there's any other anime that I've caught up on. Haven't been watching Kill la Kill, but I want to, and I want to go back and find my Blu-ray of the 2nd season of Shakugan no Shanan, because I never finished that, and I never started 3rd season. Yes, I see your Cthulhu. I am not. I see your Cthulhu. Okay. As far as the games go, it's mostly just sort of been a news week. Oh, great. Karth is going to be there in a sec.
Tell him no! Tell him no!
You tell
We already
him no.
started. No fucking up my layout.
Yeah,
Or you could just fix your layout.
No, I'm not, because I don't have a
Or-
5-person guest. So.
Well, that's your
you
fault.
tell him then. I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
mess
on
with
Skype. God damn it. Tell
you.
him.
Get on Skype and tell him. I'm not dealing with it.
Fine.
Yeah, Skype on your phone. There you go.
That's what I'm
Speaking
doing.
of anime, though, I have a bone to pick. Like, well, good thing and bad thing. Because it was one of my first animes and it's how I was introduced to it, and I read it, but the anime is taking longer to come out. I'm really pissed right now that Naruto can't get its shit together and just finish the main story
Boruto.
arc.
They got freaking Boruto. Oh my god.
But I will say that this filler arc where they like normally I just want to kill myself when filler arcs come out because they're usually something just absolutely
The
fucking
Great
stupid.
T-Rex.
Right now, I will have to say that I am impressed with the filler arc going on because they went back to the Chunin exams, and that's good to see. Like them developing other characters, because I know them when they go back to them, like they're setting you up for you care about Naruto, you care about Sasuke, you care about all these people.
I don't
Well,
care.
I know. Okay, if you follow it. But then when they go back to the main filler arc, you're going to care more about the other characters because then you're emotionally
You
invested.
just said the main filler arc.
Oh yeah, the main story arc. Anyways,
I just think
shows
that
like that.
this is the first time they've done a filler arc correctly in ever actually. So
I just think that like I gave up on Naruto like before Shippuden even started. So I'm just like,
and I'm not going to call you out on this, but I'll say that's your problem because
I know.
like they did great with the split, and then the Naruto, the actual Naruto, the non-Shippuden filler was just complete and utter shit, and I suffered through all of it.
As we were
Once-
speaking about anime,
Yeah,
we found a Lane Zero! Welcome,
Oh,
Raiders!
Lane Zero! What's going
Hello,
on?
Lane Zero! Welcome!
But once you get into Shippuden and you actually watch the main story, it gets
I
badass.
know how Shippuden ends, and I'm just like, okay.
But yeah, I'm just happy they're actually doing something
Well,
interesting
they're
for
gonna
a
keep
filler.
pulling up dump trucks onto Kishimoto's doorstep like they're doing with Toriyama.
I'm one of those people who loves Naruto and can't stand One Piece. Like
Well, One Piece is just like the baseline shonen. Like you don't know where that's gonna go. I mean,
but I hate it. I hate the animation style. I just hate the writing. I'm a terrible person. I know, but
at least like Naruto's gonna go on forever. They're gonna keep bringing dump trucks of money to Kishimoto's house, just like they're doing with Toriyama right now.
the
By
funny
way,
thing is though, is that they can't get that's the problem with Naruto is they can't get their act together. They can't put out an episode every week. Like they're like
sorry, Gabi, that was
Ah,
funny.
it's so bad. Anyways.
That was funny.
random tangent about anime.
It happens a lot here, so...
Sasuke's baby mama was all part of Aizen's plan. I'm sorry, that's funny because I don't know, I kind of like Bleach, but I'm like, hey, surprise, a new DBZ series.
Wouldn't it
Why?
be DB Dragon Ball?
I
Is it
don't
going to
care.
be a new Z or is it going to be a
Ended the
new?
Frieza saga, and now he has to make another one because they keep giving him money, and he has to do it. Like you poor man. I know you wanted to end it at the Frieza saga, but they
Should've.
can't. You couldn't
It's gonna
stop him.
It's going to be like Dragon Ball Q this time.
Literally, one of the forms is called Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. That's what it's called. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is the new form. It has like blue hair. So basically,
Jeremy,
they're
what are you
saying-
doing over there?
Huh?
Standing metal.
Okay, because all I see is...
You'll see what I'm working on in a minute.
But it really hasn't- aside from the LP stuff, there hasn't been too much time for games. Really, just not much at all.
Are you going to be done with it so that it could be your thing for the week?
Pretty much.
Okay. Alex, you have 2 minutes.
No, I'm done. You can move
Oh,
on.
damn it.
What?
Jeremy.
You want me to keep going?
Well, is he done? Is Jeremy done? Are you done waxing your metal?
Yes, I'm done waxing.
Are you done waxing something?
Okay. Jeremy, what have you been up to this week?
I'm on, man, bitches.
bitches.
How's it looking so far? Are you wearing hockey pads? I got this done. I actually have another one done that's still sitting at the school. It's made out of stainless. That's not going to be done for a while, but I can start, now that I've got this part done, I can start working on the rest of the helmet and then the whole rest of the suit from there. It's probably going to take me the whole summer, if not longer, to get it done, but, you know. What?
Habit.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is metal. This is not, you know, this isn't plastic. This isn't fiberglass. You can even see...
It's the real shit.
You know, you can even see the weld and the grind marks in the back of it, because I'm just going to coat the inside with fiberglass and screw it. So that's been taking up a good chunk of my time, putting in a lot of job applications at some different places, trying to get a few more hours, maybe get a little bit better income situation, so I can have more time to actually maybe game or, you know, work on crap like this. Because this is what happens when you let a nerd into a welding facility.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was doing while everyone was talking. I was making a thread for it on a site called the RPF.
RPF?
The RPF. It's a lot of stuff about making props and using PanikKontrol files. So, you know, it's about as close as I come to social media right now. I like my avatar on it because it's a picture of Nikola Tesla and it says, "Lab not cool enough? Invent a machine that shoots lightning." Which, for those of you that know me, is oddly appropriate. But anyhow. So mostly just working on projects at school, really trying to get finished up for the semester. Trying to work on this, and it's being a pain because the CNC plasma table at school, I can take what's called a DXF file, and it'll do the cuts based off that. PanikKontrol, which I think I've talked about before, usually used for like paper models and stuff, will export a DXF file. I just have to futz with it for a couple of hours for each piece. So it's going to be slow going, but it's going to save me a lot of time on a bandsaw, which is always a nice thing. Gaming-wise, haven't had much time, as usual, just because school, work, school, work, school. But have been getting in more 7 Days to Die, which, oddly enough, ties into the topic we're doing today because they've been going nuts on the forums about that, the topic for today. On City Skylines finally got, you know, a city coin that didn't immediately go into bankruptcy, so I don't feel like a complete loser now.
It took me a while when I played City Skylines. I was like right on that. Like there's like a starting area where you either make it and you grow, even if it's just a little bit, or you can just see the curve just going like this, and you're like, oh, this is gonna end terribly. And then you break the dam and just flood the city and kill everyone and turn into a dictator. But
yeah, I finally got to a point where I've got something I'm happy with, and I'm starting to, you know, actually have fun with that game. Mostly while playing these games, I've been marathoning Babylon 5 because now that my computer's upgraded, I can actually watch stuff on Darewall.
Cry along 5.
You saw literally one episode and decided
all it was like depressing. I'm like, really, Babylon 5, really? It's called Cry Along 5.
Again, you base this off of one episode. It was from the
The
first
ship
season.
is dying.
Cat, just because you don't have a heart doesn't mean other people don't.
Oh.
Like,
That. We know you don't have a soul, but some of the rest of us do. So
that's why I'm still on this cast.
Do flip-flops consider having souls?
Go.
no.
no.
Okay, then I
that's a
really
plus.
don't have souls.
It does count as having thongs though. So.
Ah. Aha.
Ah.
She won't let me go. She won't let me go.
What we didn't realize is that Alex is actually chained to his desk with iron shackles.
That's
And
true.
only Almir has the key. I know because I made the shackles.
If I she will shock me with electricity.
I'm imagining Alex with one of Cat's signs, but it's like, send help. This is my address. Please bring food.
Yeah, I was trying to post videos just now of the that's with my DVD
wait.
plasma table
Alex.
actually cutting all this stuff, but then I realized it's a format that
Put an implant on my brain. Can't get it out.
it's in a format that things won't register on the internet. So
The
kind of
scars like under my hair.
got through a little bit of the Resident Evil HD remaster again. I needed to sit down and do a let's play of that.
Is that any good?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're a fan of the old Resident Evil games.
A lot of people said it was good. I can't believe it's good. I mean, I haven't played it. It got recently sold like
it's
a
the
million.
old game, just better graphics. I mean,
Right.
there's
I feel like, and this is just me going off of what I've heard other people say, which I'm hesitant to do, but I heard lots of good things about Resident Evil, but then when they started releasing Resident Evil 2 as a sort of episodic thing, I heard more rumblings about that not being what people wanted than I did about the original.
I mean, I've gone over this ad nauseum.
Revelitons.
I like puzzles.
T-Ogre, someone in chat is wondering where you're watching Babylon 5 at.
Darewall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah. I mean, I can watch it on Amazon. I just don't have the money to watch it on Amazon right now. When I do, I'll watch it on there. Because then I get to keep the episodes. But I'm actually probably going to do that with a couple series. But, you know, I like puzzles. In the original Resident Evil, you had to figure out. It was one of the early, you know, kind of puzzle games as far as go here, find this key, find this crest, fix this, do that, you know. And I had fun with it. 0 Hour was pretty good. I have never gotten to play Code Veronica. I'm told it was pretty good. And the one where you face Nemesis is supposed to be pretty good. I actually bought a GameCube originally just because that was the platform where I get all the Resident Evil games.
Nice.
No one told me that some of them were really expensive on that console, though, because as it turns out, it would have been cheaper for me to buy more than one console and just do it that.
Just because they didn't make that many of them, or why?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, so
the second game in particular, they did not make many copies for the GameCube. And that one, keep in mind, this is probably a good 8-9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That one was still like $60-70.
Ow.
Yeah, so never got to play that one.
Ow.
But Resident Evil was, you know, one of my favorites from back in the day, so I'm just kind of enjoying it. I'm playing it slowly. I'm not, you know, playing it because I want a huge challenge or anything. I already know what to do with the game.
They're probably going to remake Zero next for the HD.
I'm good with that. I liked Zero. I got to play that one. You know, I know I'm going to do Let's Plays at some point, and I'm pretty sure the first one is probably either going to be Resident Evil, or I'm just going to start a new character on Secret World and just throw Funcom some money and open up another character slot and do that. Because I've got a computer that can freaking run the game now. And,
there you go. Yeah.
You know,
might as well.
I just always had fun with it. And it's been, you know, over a year since I've really played the game, so I've forgotten most of the solutions to the puzzles. So it'd be like starting all over again.
I wish, seen a little bit of it. I wish now more and more developers would go back and just, like, I understand releasing it. Here's this one and here's this one. Like, take your time and make me a goddamn collection. Give me, like, Resident Evil X through X, like, in a big old, like, one shot. Don't give me this one and give me that one. And, like, give me Final Fantasy, you know, up until 6 and all, like, in one place. Give me, like, they tried to do it with the Handsome Jack collection. They didn't include Borderlands 1. Why the fuck they didn't? Master Chief collection is probably the best.
In that.
Well, yeah. No, yeah, like, but still, it's like, why would you not include Borderlands 1 and just call it the Borderlands collection, or like the Pandora's box, or, you know, like something, like, you can easily do it, but like Master Chief collection would be the best example of that now. It's like, here's all of the Halos, and then they're going to add ODST, which is nice. Like, that is pretty much everything aside from Reach, which, you know, like it's not all of the Halos, but at the same time, it's like, we're in an era now where I think gaming has reached its mature point to where collections are more and more necessary, and people would buy them, but they're not doing full collections yet, which kind of irks me. Like, I don't want to have to buy this stuff piecemeal anymore. I just want the whole damn thing.
I just wish they'd take more time on games in general. Like,
true.
Don't pump out a game every year. Take a couple of years. Get it right. Put more effort into story, into voice acting. which was one of the reasons I loved Secret World, because the voice acting in it, you've got all kinds of people. I mean, I laughed my ass off when the guy who played Tuvok on Star Trek Voyager is essentially being that character as a guard at a bridge. And when you interact with him, you know.
That's a whole nother topic. Developers taking their time.
Speaking of topic, segue!
Segue! So, today's topic for...
Why you, Kat? You didn't say anything.
What?
What did you do this week besides have terror dreams?
Or you can pass on it. We'll just start topic. It's your show. We don't.
Okay, I'll spend exactly 5 minutes. Exactly 5 minutes on this.
Yeah, sure
So this week, well, last week, I did a whole lot of nothing except for playing Final Fantasy XIV, played Subnautica, played A Walk in the Dark, which is a cat precision platformer. And it's like the child to Boshi, like, not quite. It's literally a kid's game, essentially, of Boshi. It's like, here, you could play a precision platformer that's super easy. And
Have you played Boshi?
Fuck no. I'm having a hard time with A Walk in the Dark.
I still want to see you play, like, what was the name of the game? It's the one that had Krillin play. The Evil Within, that's not the one I was thinking of.
PT?
Play The Evil Within and...
PT.
Speaking of PT, even if that's not a thing, I think today, ladies and gentlemen, today is your last chance if you have a PS4 to download PT before they take it off.
Even if you don't have a PS4, you can get it on the PS Store and it'll take your account. So then when you get a PS4.
Yes, like if you have any sort of PlayStation account and you can purchase or you can download PT, get it, because they're not going to make the game. So PT is your only, that is going to be a gem. That is going to be a gem. Hold on to that. I will never delete that off my PlayStation 4 ever.
But yes.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
But
no horror games. Notice. I can't survive under the ocean without jumping at least 1,000 times.
You don't even have a PlayStation 4, so you're safe from PT.
Yeah, I don't have a PlayStation 4. But no horror games.
Everyone gift her horror games on Steam.
I got Outlast.
That was the one I was trying to think.
I want to watch you play Outlast.
I got it in a Humble Bundle.
Yeah, I did too. I got like the Amnesia games too. So I need to play that at some point.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot of streaming. Oh my god, the support this week has been absolutely just phenomenally ridiculous. Oh my god. The Kitty Committee is out of control this week. Absolutely out of control.
Oh my god.
It's true. I call my...
That's true. I've been seeing a lot of like, thank you for rating my blah 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 blah. So
thank you for rating my cat cave.
Cat.
The cat cave.
That
and
does
the kitty.
not sound safe for work.
Cat
cave.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Is this podcast,
am I ever safe for work? Really?
Is this podcast NSFW? Or
it's like when a girl talks about her cave of wonders.
Yeah, I actually was thinking last night because I was watching your podcast and somebody said you were playing Cards Against Humanity. I was going to recommend a card. You need to have a silicone injection mold of the quote unquote cat cave as a Cards Against Humanity card.
Yes.
We'll need to add that.
Yes, we will. But yeah, so I ended up getting Outlast for one of the Humble Bundles, and yeah, so actually last night was kind of random gameplay because the Final Fantasy XIV servers were down, which absolutely just made me cry inside, because this entire week was supposed to be Final Fantasy XIV, because I'm so close to hitting level 50, and I can taste it. It tastes so salty. So based on that note, my week has been pretty just uneventful as for like streaming and real life stuff. Though this week is going to be awesome because I am going to go see Avengers at the midnight release, and we have VIP seating.
Ooh.
It's all going to be nice, comfy recliner chairs, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm refusing to look at Twitter like all that much because people have already seen it for some reason. I don't know how or why, but they've seen it.
It's been released internationally already.
Yeah, and they're starting to list out spoilers, and I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm like, not gonna watch anything. I've only watched one teaser trailer. I've even watched the full trailers. Like, fuck it. I'm not gonna ruin my experience. So, and I said that, and everyone the last time was like, oh, spoilers, there's explosions. And I'm like, oh, god damn it. Spoilers, there's superheroes. I'm like, fuck. So, yeah, but that's what I've been up to this week. This weekend was hell, and other than that, everything else is right with the world. So, exactly 5 minutes. So, topic of discussion today. Skyrim mods, Skyrim paid mods have been taken down from Steam. And there is a nice little letter that Steam has written based on what has happened. And it's kind of interesting to me because I heard very little, actually, of the whole paid mods. I'm like, oh, they're gonna have paid mods, okay. And now it just blew up. Like, holy shit, blow up. So, that is the topic of discussion. We have exactly an hour and 40? No, an hour and 20. So, commence discussion.
Well, let's give a little bit of background about what exactly the paid mod situation is.
That's probably good to start at the beginning.
We've been following this for a while on Hardcore Gamer, and the number one thing is that Valve introduced in the Steam Workshop the ability for modders to charge money for the mods.
Let's back up even before that. Like I don't know if everybody realizes it. You should at this point, but just in case. Skyrim is huge on the PC. Like Skyrim is one of those examples of, and I say this jokingly, I'm not saying this, I'm not pushing any buttons here. PC gaming master race, because you can mod the hell out of Skyrim. We're not talking about like adding, like, oh, I changed the color of this. Like, people create entire DLC sized content mods for free on Skyrim, on the workshop, armor sets. They you literally can turn Skyrim into a different game. Like, it is the biggest reason that Skyrim is played on the PC is because of the amount of high quality mods that you can make, and it's been free since the game launched. So that's frame of reference, and then go ahead, Alex.
Skyrim was really the first launching point for this program because it is extremely mod centric for what it's worth. You mentioned that people made full DLC for it. Like, I think they rendered the entire Shivering Isles DLC in Skyrim because based on the mod support. So what they did is that they started this solely in Skyrim, and basically it would allow modders to charge money for the mods, and they would divide up the payment between the modders, the developers, and then Steam itself. Now, in theory, this is an okay idea because, if a mod is good enough, then you would want to support the people who are working on it. However,
which a lot of people did already. Like, a lot of people did. Right. Here's my mod. If you want to donate and you like it, here's a link to my PayPal. Here's a link to this or whatever. And it was optional. But
now the inherent problem with it, well, actually, there was a lot of problems with it. This was not received well because the modding community has been relatively non-profit up till now. Now, there has been donation support on external websites, but this was the first time that so what would happen is that Bethesda could set, well, what happens is, I think it's like 25% goes to Steam of the whole thing, and then that remaining 75% Bethesda can decide how much they divvy it up. This was not well implemented. I mean,
no,
not at all. This got a lot of negative feedback. I do know that Total Biscuit actually tried to justify it. And, the same deal is, in theory, charging for mods is not inherently bad. The number one problem here is that there was very, very little way to for the consumer to control this. And I think I noticed here on IGN that there is an article they made about 5 reasons why this didn't work. One What if a mod broke?
That was exactly like when people asked me like about it, I was like, what happens if I download a mod and I pay for it, and the next day they release a patch like Skyrim, 1.7.9.2.7564, and then the modder that I just paid money to, their mod breaks because of the update, and they're like, well, I don't want to go to the work to do it. And then I've paid for, like, who's going to quality control that? Do I complain to Steam? How do I get my money back?
The refund window was extremely limited. I think it was like just 30 days, which is not enough. Which means that on the 29th day, if this happened, then you're screwed. Now, the number one problem that I saw on my own was there is really nothing stopping someone from taking a free mod someone else made and selling it as their own on the Steam forum.
Which happened.
Yeah, I mean,
which wouldn't be hard to do either.
Well, somebody was already stealing things from other people's mods, and they were taking assets that people made and then packaging them as a new mod and like in their own stuff, and then
that was the number one
selling that content
I saw from it. And I mean, look at Greenlight. Look at how terribly. Look at all of the copyright infringement that happens in Greenlight. So many games that get through Greenlight have stolen assets, and Total Biscuit has talked about it a lot on his channel. So really, there's no way to protect the modders and to determine, yes, I made this mod and I am selling it. Mm-hmm. And of course, Valve said, oh, we're letting the community police this. We're depending on them to do it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Why would you trust gamers to do anything? We can't.
Why would you? Do you really think that the community is going to do a good job of that? I mean, I'm sorry, no disrespect to the Steam community, but as far as, policing the quality control, they're not really someone that I want to do that. Then again, Valve hasn't done a very good job of policing Greenlight. So really, it's just a big situation where there's too little assurance. And they say, can you even control the modding community? And that's something that IGN said too. I mean, modding has always been a pretty free methodology idea. I mean, it's really someone has an idea for a mod, and not just something cosmetic. Also, creating a new area, content creation, and also bug fixes. Like, I know one of the most important mods that I can remember wasn't even in Skyrim. It was actually in Dark Souls on PC. A modder actually fixed all of the bugs in Dark Souls, and then he got like a DMCA from Namco from it, but that got fixed.
Yeah, because it's called DS Fix, and it's because the PC port of Dark Souls was just fucking god awful, and it makes the game playable. Mm-hmm. And he got a DMCA. He eventually ended up getting around it, but a lot of these mods are fixes for things that games haven't officially patched yet.
The biggest one I can think of is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Yeah, I was getting ready to just mention that because there's
I needed to download that to get that to run. And I mean, there are a lot of games.
And there's a fan mod, and it's like 4 gigs. It's not small. And they're still continuing to put out more. Like, I think there was one where you can play as a werewolf now. And, modding it to the same level you're talking about with Skyrim. And this is a game that's how old? Because it was a game that had a lot of really good potential. It was just a situation where the game studio that was making it basically had to release it too early because they were going out of business.
Right.
And they needed to make money to try and stay afloat. And,
And this was before early access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of communities depend on mods as a way for technical things. I know Fallout 3 needs mods to function on newer PCs.
Yep.
And I know that there's one, I was actually listening to the Super Best Friend cast today, and there is the mod, the script extender, which is important for almost every mod. So if that was out, then basically the entire modding community is under lockdown. So for the most part, modding is important, and it is a huge selling point for the PC market in general. So what Valve did is they throttled a lot of this. They put on a lot of ways that are limiting the creators and putting way too much power into people who are generally untrustworthy. Not really the community, but you're saying you're giving people who steal mods a degree of trust, and you shouldn't do that.
Not only that, like, because you just said something and made me think of something. You mentioned Skyrim script extender, which is huge. Like, that for a lot of really super popular mods, they say you need Skyrim script extender to run this. Now, one of two things can happen here before the takedown. Either Steam had successfully basically shoved everybody away from the Steam Workshop and towards Nexus mods where everything is still free, or what if the person who made Skyrim script extender said, I will continue to do this, but now this mod costs $20 because that is a gateway mod for Frostfall, for realistic needs and diseases, for entire content areas, like all of the really popular. Yeah, like you then, like, theoretically, the person who made Skyrim script extender could have turned into a millionaire pretty much in less than 6 months if they said, okay, yeah, SKSE now costs $15 to $20 a pop, and you get it for, we'll continue to support it, but basically, like, that's, in a way, to me, that is
person
terrifying.
With the entire mod community in their pocket, if that.
Yes, that is terrifying to me. The potentiality for that.
And so what happened is Gabe Newell went on Reddit for an AMA and tried to answer the questions. It was all pretty much damage control, ambiguous, nebulous business rhetoric, and no one was really satisfied with it. So what happened yesterday is that they said, okay, we're axing this idea for now, because it's clear that they haven't, that this could come back. This is pretty much like the whole like Xbox One DRM. I mean, it's not something that they wanted to cut because they would have made a lot of money with it. What this did do is that since they're not doing this anymore, is this shows that the community can influence this, that Valve knows that people won't take bullshit this hard, which is good, because now, when people complain enough and people see valid concerns, because there was a lot of valid concerns here, that Valve can't pull this again without really thinking it through. And like I said before, paid mods are generally, in theory, not a bad idea. I really like the idea of a donation model. Like, if
I do too. I very much do too.
Like, I don't have any sort of problem donating to something as substantial as the script extender. I really think that is, and Jeremy, you just posted a link to the 7 Days to Die forums.
Yeah, that's where they were discussing about it. I think it made it to like 12 pages or so.
And there were a lot of companies who were very upset at this. A lot of developers who because they support the modding community. Modding is a good way for them to get free publicity, and it also lets them kind of get an idea of bug fixes.
And not only that, like, I've always seen modding, and I'm a bit of a modding purist. I've always seen modding as hey, this person has a skill set, they're going to create a mod, and it's happened. You make a cool enough mod, you end up getting hired by a game dev company. Maybe not the one that made you, like some guy made a DLC size mod for Skyrim, and he ended up getting hired on as a game developer, which is really cool. It's a resume building thing, and it's a bit of a purist idea. Like you said, I like the donation model. Like, hey, if you use this, you're dependent on other people's graciousness, which on Twitch and on modding, like it's a very, very hit or miss. But it's I've, like I said, I've always seen modding as this is a way to showcase my talent. This is my portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have to necessarily pay for that, but if I use it and it's amazing, then you flip that back onto the community. If you are a part of the modding community, or you mod your games or whatever, and you have money, even if it's $1, hey, I use your mod, I thought it's fucking amazing. Not only is that $1, right? You can go buy a fucking chicken sandwich at McDonald's or whatever. That is like monetary support to that person saying, hey, here's some money, you did a good job. That's going to keep them, that's going to boost their morale and make them make more mods, because people are actually giving them money to use.
If they get enough money, they can live off that. And that is more time to create mods.
If it becomes required, like if we get into that nebulous area of like Steam Workshop makes you have to pay for things potentially, and Nexus mods is still free. You're right. It was just a really, really bad road to go down. And when Gabe Newell gets downvoted like into the bottom of the ocean on Reddit, you know that it was probably not a good idea.
Oh, Purple Hippo, when'd you get here? I guess she saw my link. Thanks. That's a Twitter friend of mine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sky UI is another one. Yeah. Sky UI is another one, just like Skyrim script extender. Like those two are like, if you're going to mod Skyrim, you want to grab those. And if Sky UI was going to go paid, I would have like probably lost my shit if I would have had to pay for Sky UI, since I've used it for so long.
I think that the number one thing that has happened is that this is pretty much because I think that making people obligated to pay is really bad. I do think that giving them the choice, giving a modder the choice, and the person who made the mod a choice to charge for it, isn't anti-consumer, because it's basically saying that if the person, well, this depends on the dependence on the mod. But if it's a cosmetic mod, like it turns the dragons in Skyrim into Thomas the Tank Engine, then
which is a thing.
It is a thing. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
If they charge that for $5, you can just choose not to buy it because it's it's cosmetic. That's a cosmetic mod. But something like a bug fix, something like the script extender, which is integral to modding in general, charging for that impacts the other modders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the whole power struggle starts to go. I think this is another case of, in theory, it's okay. But this is a very, very tough idea to implement without creating all of these holes and all of these really abusable situations.
Like, let me pose a question to you. Say you're a developer of a game. Say you're Bethesda, right? Somebody makes a huge bug fix improvement patch for your game that you haven't done yet. And then they start charging money for it as a mod. In your mind, what does that do to your relationship with your community? Because they're going, I can buy this from this person who fixed your game for you, and then I hold Bethesda accountable for the fact that they didn't fix it themselves. Like, put yourself in the developer's shoes. How much of a rift could this potentially cause from people fixing games that needed to be fixed? Like you guys mentioned Vampire Massacre, Vampire Bloodlines. Like, the larger implications for the gaming industry in terms of developers. I mean, you guys can extrapolate that as much as that's crazy.
The one thing that's kind of interesting about that is that that can go both ways. I mean, in one part, the modder can, make the game look bad by saying, I fixed your game. On the other hand, the modder can say, I fixed your game. Now when you sell it to people, they'll be happy and they'll be able to play it.
Except the fact that you have to not only buy the game, now you have to buy the fix for the game from somebody who's not the developer.
That's true.
Then me as a consumer, I look at the developer and go, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you selling me a broken game and I have to go download something else that I have to pay for to fix the goddamn game? Like, that just, ugh.
Personally, I think mods should stay as they are. They should be free. They should be very voluntary. And if you do want to support someone who makes something like the script extender, you can have a donation model. Mm-hmm. I think that being able to, because I know that people would donate to mods that are that well produced. Modding is a big part of games, even not just on PC, but there are some mods like Project M mod for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which has become a competitive level Super Smash Bros. Mode, where they took Super Smash Bros. Brawl and gave it the same kind of mechanics and speed as Super Smash Bros. Melee. That is going into insane levels of complexity. They've added new moves. They've added HD remakes of stages that haven't been introduced since the very first game. So modding's a big part of the culture, and it's giving. I mean, we have Counter-Strike, which is a mod that became one of the most popular first-person shooters ever, especially on PC. And we got Dota, obviously, Team Fortress 2. There's the modding community has done some really important things, and I think that needs to be cultivated. People need to say, Skyrim is obviously a great example because the modding community for Skyrim is enormous. Also seen Grand Theft Auto on PC is a big part of it. A lot of the reason that people get PC versions of games is because of the mod support.
Oh, yeah.
So overall, Valve was smart to cut back on that because they are in a situation where people are really starting to question their approach to the consumer. I mean, Greenlight is a broken system. It is just there are so many things that sink through, and they're either stolen or bad or both. I mean, but you know, every now and then you see something interesting.
There.
What's up?
There's a lot of bad stuff on Greenlight.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I used to actually check it every day, and I don't anymore.
I see some interesting stuff on Greenlight every now and then, but there's just way too much stuff that's just. So
I would be really okay with the idea of some sort of a mod Kickstarter model where it's not donations because the mod's not out yet, but like I've got this idea for a mod, I'll do this. Obviously you have to hold them to a certain degree of, you know, having all the rules in place, but just conceptually the idea. If I'm going to make this mod, if you want to see this made, let's hit a goal so that I can make this. Because then once you put that out, it's free. But if people want to see it, then that's a way for the person to make money. But again, we get into that whole like I think there are much better other ways to do this rather than giving modders the ability to put that.
You want to know how bad this was? At one point, a journalist friend of mine said that there were early access mods.
Oh, good Lord.
I know. That's where we came from. I mean, it's this is just as, I mean, early access as it is just, it's almost as bad as Greenlight, because I played early access games. Like when I reviewed I Am Bread, it still had the bugs on full release. It still had a lot of bugs in full release. So I reviewed it as a full product. I had to. So I just think that Valve is in a situation where Steam has become such the dominant platform for PC that they can cut these corners. I mean, the Greenlight system will let them cut corners. The early access is abused to hell. And now and if this got through and they kept doing it, this would have been really bad.
Well, I think it would have eventually just driven people to sites like Nexus Mods where it's like, hey, this shit's free. Like, here you go, sign up for the website. It's a little bit more difficult. It's not just click the button to install the mod.
Right.
You have to do the Nexus Mod Manager. You got to do the sorting order and things like that. That's not hard to learn. There would just be more tutorials about how to do this on Nexus Mods. And I think, honestly, Nexus Mods would have... if I was running the Nexus Mods site, and I would have wanted Steam to keep that model, because, and I'm not attending anybody here, serious Skyrim modders use Nexus Mods. Yeah. If you're doing Steam, and if you want to talk to me, send me an email or, you know, offline, that's fine. I'll help you through it. I would highly encourage anybody who uses Steam Workshop to just add mods to their Skyrim, not to do that and to switch to Nexus Mods anyways, because there's so much more value there.
Of course they'd support Steam doing that. Never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake.
Yeah,
I mean, exactly. That would get them a lot of publicity and a lot of positive traffic. I mean, it's the whole reason. Steam has become the dominant PC platform, and Valve does think that they can get away with this stuff. But this time, they were proven wrong. There were enough people who were upset about this and enough negative coverage from so many websites and YouTubers that they just, it was clear that they weren't going to be able to get away with it. And it's good that they didn't get away with it, because it showed that now people are paying attention. The PC community is very, very dependent on mods. I'd say dependent. And they like them enough that they're willing to defend the freedom of the community and not turn it into a lot of a real mess of legality and stuff. So I think that this was good to do, and it shows that Valve can't get away with this kind of stuff. That's very good.
And I completely agree. Like, I have been on my channel. I go in these little bit of rants about early access or anything like that, and I always try to challenge my viewers. Like, think about where you spend your money. Think about what you do. Think about like gamers as a whole vote with their wallets. Mm-hmm. The games you buy, the things that you pre-order, the wherever you spend your money. That is what drives. That's the reason that we have yearly Assassin's Creed installments, yearly Call of Duty installments. That's the reason why we have early access. Like, the gaming industry votes with its wallet. And I like this, that finally we've spoken up and said, no, we won't stand for this, or no, we're not going to buy this shit. And we've managed to affect change. But then I would like to see, and maybe, I don't know, Kat, or like how you guys feel about what does it mean from here? Like, we've obviously proven that as gamers, when we say, no, we're not going to buy this shit, it gets changed. But we haven't done that for early access. We haven't done that on holding people accountable on Kickstarter for when they go dark for 18 months and take $2.5 million and just disappear. We haven't done that with we haven't done that with pre-order bonuses. We haven't done that with yearly installments of games that come out.
I still want my ears.
Well,
that's the biggest thing, is that it's like, where as a follow-on question to this, because I think we kind of all agree, like, it was good that this whole thing, the Skyrim thing, was great, that we as gamers, we as Reddit, good job, Reddit, you fucking did it. I hate Reddit, but good job, Reddit, you know. But how do we as gamers who have proven that when we vote with our wallet, things change, how do we take this lesson and apply it to something else? Because people are still going to get early access games. People are still going to buy pre-order things and then complain about them later. People are still going to like all three of you guys, what would you like to see going forward? The community's affect change on.
Now, I will say this, that voting with your wallet is the way to go. Now, this does remind me of like when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 was, Xbox One does the always online thing. And I remember that after Sony announced the PlayStation 4 wouldn't have that, I saw a video by Angry Joe saying, we did it. And I'm like, you didn't do anything. You want to know who saved it? Sony did. Because if Sony was doing online DRM, Xbox One would still have it too. Mm. Now, in this case, this is different, because I do think that that this was on the community, because there really was no outside pressure. There really wasn't, because Steam was number one. There's no competitor pushing them. Now, I don't like early access. I have not bought an early access game. I've reviewed one. That the I Am Bread, I did that all the way. Well, yeah, Zero, that's kind of what we're talking about. It. Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys can talk if you want. I've never supported a Kickstarter, ever, because I don't believe in paying for promises. I want a thing. I want proof. I mean, like, I've supported people on Patreon, different YouTubers on Patreon, specifically animators, because I know that they need it the most, but I've never supported like a Kickstarter. Not only because I don't think it's a good idea, but because if I support something on Kickstarter, I cover it in my game journalism, then that is a conflict of interest, and I'd rather just skip it altogether. So, and I mean, if a Kickstarter project is good, I'll just buy it when it's at a full release. That's what I did with Shovel Knight.
Well, the reason I bought my ear... Okay, so speaking of the ears, which is the
ears. Still haven't gotten them.
Breathe.
Probably not going to get it for quite a while.
But what's the story? I don't know the whole story. So
okay, so I found ears, like headset ears. Okay, it's a headset that the ears have little speakers in them. They're
that's amazing.
What was the company? Like Apex or something like that. And they did a Kickstarter because they were like, hey guys, we have a product. Like, they showed you the two model types of the product. And they're like, we have them in small quantities. We have like ones that work, and they're like demonstrating, and they're like, we want to take it to full production. Like, we want to manufacture these. We want people to have them, so on and so forth. So I was like, fuck yes, I will kickstart that, because I was like, I want my headset with ears. And so it was yes. Someone else pronounce that for me, because I'm
Accent.
Accent.
I think it's accent wear cat ear.
Yeah. But they looked so awesome, and they raised somewhere close to over $2 million for these ears. $2 million. And suddenly they're like, okay, well, they had them in production, and they're like, hey guys, we can't do this anymore, because like, we want to be able to give the quality that you guys want of these headsets.
$3.4 million total raised on Indiegogo.
Oh my god. Yeah. So they're like, we can't manufacture them right this second, because the place that we were going to manufacture them is essentially a sweatshop. And They want to
I think I
keep
remember
it.
you talking about this.
Yes, I did talk about this because I got the email and I read the email out loud on stream. And it was like they wanted it to be made in China. They wanted it to be, because that's where the founders of the campaign were from. They wanted to make it in China. So they were like, we are going to hold off and find a proper place to manufacture these.
Mhm.
And as someone said, original campaign, 2014, November 22nd, 2014. That's fine. That's like less than a year ago, essentially.
It's about 6 months.
Yeah. But the problem with it is now they were supposed to have them for February. They were supposed to have them for March. They were supposed to have them from April. And the last email I got was essentially from February. I have not heard anything for months. So, and they didn't even tell us, oh, they are in production or they're not in production.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have not said anything at all about it. And I'm like, well, what they should at that point, to me, as a consumer and person who kickstarted it, is get the refund. You set your shit up. You figure out what you need to do first and foremost. You give us our money back, and then when you produce the product, we will fund the product. When there is a staple proof of saying, hey, this is something that is good to go, I'll be more than willing to hand you that money back. But to keep it and essentially be like, hey, it's currently in limbo, it's up in the air, like, I don't know. Those headsets were $150.
Yeah, they're 170 now, and there's some options like there's $2,000. Like a lot of you guys like don't realize that like Kickstarter sometimes is $1, sometimes it's $5. This is like in the hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars campaign. Like this is a lot of money being thrown at these guys.
And it's kind of like, well, what is going on? Like, there's nothing on Twitter for them. There's no website for them. There's no information other than the little bits and pieces that we've gotten over the course of a couple months. And this is one of those things where I'm like, I do not like crowdfunding at all because of this reason. Like, if it's a product that I trust, like, say, I'm gonna give a good example. Drunk Quest is a card game that is like always on Kickstarter. They're always on Kickstarter. They've produced so many things. They've been like, here guys, we're gonna
It's a proven track record. Yeah.
They're here. We got this. What's going on? Blah blah blah. This is their first time doing this. Will I ever back something? This is their first time doing it ever again? No. Not at all. I will wait until the product is released and pay fucking full price for it. I don't care if it's an extra $100 for a full price product. I will pay it if I know I'm getting a product. Because at this point, this is a shot in the foot for me as being someone who was amped up about it. I've talked about it. I even like posted so much shit about like, go follow this, go do this. Like, I was hyping it up no matter what. I know a couple people that actually bought a couple of them. Not just one, but a couple of them. And I'm like, I look like a fool now because you guys can't get your shit together, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't like paying for promises in general. Maybe
yeah, and that's, I think, taking that exact topic over to, like, early access and in development games is the same premise to me, because like if the early access is good enough to play as it is, that's fine. I consider it a game. I don't consider
not a game.
Yeah, exactly. I consider it a game. I don't care if it's considered early access. If I can play it in early access, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I see Alex trying to.
Well, like the reason. Like a lot of the Kickstarters that I would fund are gonna get funded anyway. Like I know that Platonic's game are gonna do a Kickstarter. It's a lot of the people who used to work for Rare, and they're gonna make a new 3D platformer. And I'm like, your game's gonna get funded in the first day.
Yeah.
I don't need to do anything.
Well,
now, there are situations where they almost don't get funded. Like Toe Jam and Earl, the reboot, almost didn't get funded, but it did. and I didn't fund it because I don't believe in paying for promises. On the topic of early access, I mean, the whole thing I have with this is that the success rate is just not assuring enough for me, because someone did something on Kickstarter, was doing this sort of card game, and they basically just severed contact with all the backers and cited just this person was not in a good mood or something like that, some sort of mental depression or something. They just didn't listen. And I'm like, I do not care. If you're a consumer, that's a really bad excuse to hear. Mm-hmm. On the topic of early access, I think with early access that there is a bit more of a success rate, but not enough. Now, I do think that there have been some early access successes. Crypt of the Necrodancer has been good reviews.
I love that game. It's so good. Everybody go buy it.
Even though you keep losing your multiplier.
I'd love to, once I get
I can't even beat the third zone. Like, god damn it.
Darkest Dungeon has been getting a lot of praise as an early access game. Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, there are successes. It's not Rare, you know, it's the people who used to work for Rare but aren't with them anymore. So it's like the people who made the good Rare games, like Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, and they're making it. So yeah, I mean that Kickstarter starting in May 1st. So if you feel like donating.
When it comes to crowdfunding and early access, I've had really good luck with it, I guess, because I haven't had a bad experience yet. And I've kickstarted a couple of things. But some of the stuff I kickstarted was like Castle Blood. I've known Ricky, the guy who runs that haunt, for a decade and a half. So I knew what that money was going to go towards. I kickstarted a lot of stuff with Shadowrun Returns and Shadowrun Dragonfall.
Oh yeah, that got funded.
Again,
right
proven track record. So
yeah.
And one of my friends knows some of those people personally, so again, you know, I know it's good there. I kickstarted some stuff with Secret World, with the Black Watchman and all that stuff.
I would show you my coat, but it currently has a spider in it, so I'm not going to.
We're going to have another wasp incident.
No. I like this was a while ago, and I just left the coat.
That is the game that I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the situation. Purple Hippo is like the son told the backer. Yeah.
And early access games. I mean, I've got a couple sitting here. I mean, technically, in a way, Minecraft was early access.
Yeah, Minecraft was early access.
And that went really well. 7 Days to Die has gone well. I never played Rust, which apparently I'm kind of glad I didn't do that.
Penis Brotherhood.
I have somebody who is a big Rust fan, and they've said like, yeah, in the beginning it was shit. There are weekly, like massive weekly content updates going now. Rust is one of those ones that it's like, this is not good at the beginning, and they managed to pull themselves out of that hole of just bad news bears.
That's all well and good. It's just, you know, I already have a game that is essentially the same blasted thing. So, you know, and I'm happy with how it's going. So why would I switch? But there's also the Forest. I haven't checked into it for a little while. It was okay when I played it. It was still a little, but that was also probably multiple months ago. I mean, I've got several early access games on here, and all of them have been okay. But then again, I'm a little less picky than some consumers, because I mean, like, well, Fallout New Vegas. Anyone? Remember all the bugs with that game? That some of them are still freaking in there, and will never be patched at this point. I mean, there were a lot of bugs in Secret World when it first came out, and you know, I was in the beta test for that one.
Technically, isn't all MMOs like early access? And
not exactly, because there's early release weekends, but then there's actual early access where you're like actually beta testing and stress testing of servers, and that was a little different. And I've done that with a couple of MMOs. I did it with ESO, I did it with Secret World. What was the one that was what Diablo 3 should have been?
Path of Exile.
Path of Exile, did it with them. What was the one that was like Halo MMO with jetpacks?
Firefall.
Firefall, that's it, thank you.
That was a great premise, and it just kind of died.
Yeah, honestly, the reason I didn't stay with it is because I knew what was going to happen, or at least I thought I knew what was going to happen. it was going to get to general release, and it was going to be filled with a bunch of Halo kids, and I would want to reach through my computer and strangle them.
Hey.
Fuck those Halo kids.
Yep.
I worked on Halo.
I think, you know,
I was just never a huge Halo fan, and I
know.
was around for when the first one came out.
I still like
It was okay. It just wasn't my kind of game.
I think Alex is right. I mean, I think for me, and I try to do this on my channel. For me, there's two takeaways. For everybody in chat who is not a streamer or YouTuber, if you are, I'm not directed to you, but anybody who's a just general gaming, God damn it, Cat, who's a general gaming consumer, Kickstarter, early access, all that stuff. For me, I tell you guys, square one, if you're going to fund Kickstarter because you want benefits when that thing comes out and it looks cool, or you want early access because you want to try it or whatever, kind of based off what Alex said, the takeaway for you guys is be willing to throw that money away. Look at it as, I'm going to take this $20 bill, I'm going to light it on fire, and I may never see it again. If I get something out of it, that's fine. But don't take, if you have $100 gaming budget for the month and you blow that on a Kickstarter and you never see a penny from it, you never see an ounce of entertainment, because that's what we're chasing, right? As gamers, we're chasing that entertainment value. Be willing to, whatever your budget is, whatever your Kickstarter budget is, whatever your gaming budget is, whatever your early access budget is, whatever, anything, the same money that you would use to buy a brand new spanking awesome title that's amazing. If you're going to spend any of that on anything that is any sort of early access or Kickstarter, be willing to let that money go. If you're not, as a gamer and as a consumer, you're doing it wrong.
I couldn't
because you have to realize, where are you, like, where's your head at? Like, you have to be willing to just let that go.
It's just,
on the other side of that, all of us being people that are now live on Twitch right now and YouTubers and gamer viewers and things like that, it's a little bit different because we have to know how to pick them. Because what if I get the opportunity as a streamer to get an early access game that people are really hyped about that's behind a paywall? Here's the example. This is the best example I can give you. Neverwinter. All right? I'm going to tell you a story about Neverwinter. Here's the deal. Elohim, who's now a famous, who just had his 2-year anniversary on Twitch yesterday. Partnered streamer, big guy, has thousands of people that watch him every day, right? Elohim, 2 years ago, had $200 in his pocket, was broke, was going to college, and told his girlfriend at the time, hey, I'm going to spend $200 on Neverwinter because it's this really cool MMO. And it's behind this paywall. And he threw up. He just was like, I'll stream it on this Twitch thing. But because there was that $200 paywall and it was an early access game, and everybody wanted to know what it was about, because it was that golden gem of just like, he ended up picking a class, a rogue class that not many other people, or let alone streamers, were playing, and he got the high level endgame rogue content very quickly. Jeremy
played rogue, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Elo went live, and his first week he had 400 people watching him a day. He got partnered on Twitch in a week. In 1 week, he got partnered on Twitch because it was an early access game. It was behind a paywall, and he hit that magical, that thing, right? And not to say that he's not an amazing caster. Dude's fucking hilarious. I subbed to him. He's amazing. That said, anybody who produces content, there's a whole double standard for us, like, because we are consumers. We want to recommend you guys good games. So for you, be willing to throw that money away. For us, we have to be willing to throw that money away. But also, I've gotten lured into, there's not that many people streaming this on Twitch. People obviously want to watch it. Do I spend $30 on this game, not just to necessarily buy followers, because that sounds dirty, but to give people access to something they might want to watch? It's content. But then we're voting with our wallets. So we have to be doubly careful, because
not only are we buying the game, you're showing someone else the game, and our influence can influence then the game itself. That's like me and Barony. Like when we did the Barony pre-release, and I was like, guys, I am playing this game. I had at least 10 viewers that night go, okay, I want Barony. And they threw money at Barony. So
take my money.
So I mean, even with paying for that, like, that content, you have to be extremely careful as streamers and YouTubers because you have an influence. Like,
but somebody brought up in chat just now. Yasha just said
in the chat, you know, what if you get free access to early games? And as a reviewer for the site, we get, you know, early copies because we have to review them. Yeah. Now, that's pretty tricky, especially, you know, because sometimes, and this happens.
I don't think it's that tricky.
This happens a lot, in fact, especially with games that are very, very heavily on the online play. When you review a game that is very, very dependent on online support, whether it's an MMO, whether it's a shooter, whether it's anything that demands a lot of connectivity, you need to review it in the wild. You cannot review it in a controlled condition, because I see this a lot. There were people who reviewed Drive Club on PlayStation 4 in a controlled environment, not out where everyone could use it. And the review scores were night and day.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do that when there's only reviewers on the server. That's dishonest. Now,
well, that's like looking at World of Warcraft. Go to like their PTR, the private test server, or whatever it's called, the private test server, and people are doing reviews based on the private test server. That
is unethical.
And it's kind of like, how are you going to even say this is good? Because when you get to a launch, and then suddenly you have like 80 people flooding the zone to get to one NPC, and you're like, how the fuck am I supposed to do anything? And then you try and review that. It's like
Polygon changed their Drive Club score twice.
Right.
Because they fucked up.
Well, think about it this way. Like, the base idea, which I mean, you're right. You should review it in the wild and all that stuff. And the base idea to me is, let's say it's not a multiplayer game. Let's say it's just, you're getting this game for free. It's early access, but it's basically finished, like media copy, review copy, things like that. Like, that happens all the time. That is developers knowing that it's basically free marketing. Hey, I'm going to give this YouTuber or this streamer this game. They're going to review it. They're going to put it out there because they want to get people lined up for that launch day. And that is completely fine. Now, all the moral stuff that you talked about, and like our responsibilities as Twitch streamers and YouTubers and reviewers and things like that is on us to fairly and objectively review the game. And if we can't, say, hey, I'm not going to do this yet because I can't, right? But as far as developers go, the whole premise of giving out games that are finished, or even that are early access, early, is just smart business and good marketing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Now, can it go wrong? This whole thing that went on with like Total Biscuit and Titan Souls and the development, like there's multiple examples of those situations going bad, especially if the consumer base thinks that a streamer or a YouTuber has been paid to review said game or play said game, which is a whole nother, like, I don't think any of us have been, and I don't feel comfortable about talking about that situation. If you want to, you can do all your research on that stuff. I don't want to touch that subject.
Oh, I've been touching that for the last year. Let's move away.
Yeah, but
I think that you're right. You know, that there are
marketing situations. It's really good marketing,
but we should do our best to avoid. It's
because I was muted. He said BRB bio. There we go. Oh, is it the Amazon card? No, it's not the Amazon card. It's something.
It's the sun. It's the center of the sun. I can't see. But I mean, yes. I mean, going back to the whole thing. Everybody in chat, I try to challenge people to be better, as I call it on my stream. Like, as a consumer. No, Yasha, I don't want to touch it because I've never been paid to review a video game, and I'm not going to like sit here on a throne and point fingers at somebody saying this person was paid to review this game and they're bad for doing that. Like,
I personally haven't myself, but I know that there are people out there.
It happens, but none of us are subject experts.
Part of a larger discussion that I've been.
That's kind of like the four of us sitting here talking about, like, oh, we know what it's like to be partnered on Twitch, and we don't have a sub button.
Yeah, or me talking about having a vagina.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
Cat's an expert.
I know all about the penis. I can tell you right now. I know all about it.
You have a big black one. And I have a medium-sized gray one.
Yeah. Sorry, these are Cards Against Humanity cards,
yeah,
so
Yes.
this is completely.
But yeah, so for you guys, whether you want to accept the idea or not, people that you watch on Twitch are consumers and viewers as well, and they're also role models. If they recommend you a game, if they spend money on a game, you're more or less likely, depending on how it's presented, to go buy that game. So for everybody in chat, you guys did the community, I'm talking to the gaming community right now, you guys did an amazing thing telling Valve, fuck you, we're not going to pay for these mods. Where does that, how do we take that lesson and say, hey, you know what? We need better quality control for early access. We need better quality control for Greenlight. We need better quality control for Kickstarter, because we keep funding these things. And this is just I'm going on a completely subjective thing. I think that whole Crowfall game that just got funded, the Crowfall MMO, like, you guys kickstarted another goddamn MMO for millions of dollars. And I'm not like, have we not learned our lesson yet about it?
No.
Everyone's like, oh my God, Crowfall's amazing. And if you like it, that's fine. If you're getting offended and you kickstarted it, that's fine.
The next field that we need to work on is pre-orders.
Oh.
And pre-orders is it's all encompassing,
here's
right?
the thing.
Where do you
hear
spend
about
your money?
some statistics that I think Total Biscuit posted, that pre-orders have gone down significantly over in the UK or somewhere in Europe. And that's good. Pre-order culture is what, the term that we call, pre-order bonuses, getting early access to certain things, putting down money for products that are probably unfinished in the case of what happened last year with Ubisoft.
Now, there is one thing that I'm definitely going... That isn't a bio break, that was food.
Food
is biologically degradable, that's why it's food.
The number one thing
I went to the restroom.
Hush your face.
Muffin on the way back. Muffin button.
Time I
You
pre-order
have
games.
muffins?
What's wrong?
My muffin.
I want a muffin.
Muffin. The only time I pre-order games is if it's a game that I absolutely know is going to be good, and a game that I know is going to be hard to find unless you get it at launch.
I will pre-order
Any
expansions.
Nintendo game. And Bayonetta 2, you could not find that in store.
If I'm a huge fan of the game and they're offering, like, if
Final
I want
Fantasy
a fucking
Heaven's Sword.
If I want a fucking statue, like if the physical thing that's included in the box is really cool and I'm a fan of that game, I will pre-order. I will also pre-order in terms of if there's like exclusive, like again, like you said, if I'm convinced subjectively that this game is going to be fucking awesome, I will pre-order to get extra stuff in game. That said, I have not yet, and I'm going to try to stick to this, I will not pre-order a game that has console or platform exclusive stuff.
That never lasts.
I hate platform exclusivity with a fucking passion. The fact that Destiny has things on PlayStation. Well, I'm okay with store exclusivity. I'm talking about like Destiny's a prime example. The fact that PlayStation has things on Destiny that it doesn't, or Destiny has things on PlayStation that it doesn't have anywhere else, just fucking frosts me. The fact that a console maker can go to a developer and pay them enough money to change their game or time the exclusives. Like, I'm okay with timed exclusives. I'm okay with exclusives. But if the game is on all platforms and all those platforms don't have equal access to the content, that's where it starts to get
money between the publishers and the manufacturers now.
Yeah.
Like,
anyways,
Xenoblade Chronicles X, if you don't get that at launch, you are not going to get that for at least another year. So you better get it at launch. And I trust it's going to be great because, I really trust Monolith Soft. Same thing with Bayonetta because I'm a Platinum Games fanboy, completely shameless there. Now, the number one thing that people have been discouraged about pre-orders is the game coming out at launch. You already have your money down and the game doesn't fucking work.
That's Unity. Assassin's Creed Unity.
Unity was the poster child of this.
And not only that, they barred, and this is where it gets like on the developers, like this is where you have to be careful who you give your money to, because not only did they get the pre-order hype and all that stuff, Ubisoft then barred reviews from coming out. They extended their what's the word I'm looking for?
Microtransactions.
They extended the moratorium on you can't post reviews until this date, until after the launch window, because usually it comes out like the night before. Right. Because they wanted to get everybody's money so they could buy the game and then let the reviews come out.
The reviews came out after people were already streaming bought retail copies. And that's, I mean, we can name off a laundry list of all the things that Ubisoft did wrong with Unity.
Yeah.
You could name off that it wasn't finished, that they hid the microtransactions, that they had a very, very strict embargo. There were just so
that's
many
what I was
problems with
and yeah, and Master Chief
you could
Collection.
say the Uplay, you could say the DLC, you could just say that it wasn't fucking working. The whole thing is that, and this had all happened after people had laid down their money.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The fact that it's the same deal as people have with Kickstarter and with early access. They're putting down money in faith. They're not doing it. They're doing it because they trust. And Ubisoft is not the only person guilty of this.
No, not at all.
I mean, Master Chief Collection, as Yasha said, that is still
multiplayer
not working.
But no, it's working
Drive
now.
Club isn't working.
Master Chief Collection is working now.
It is?
Multiplayer is working. They had a snafu with the ranking system earlier, and they had to cancel the HCS club. But you can matchmake, you can do all that stuff. They fixed all that.
So that's why it's relieving to hear about people like CD Projekt Red who are saying, yeah, we're going to delay The Witcher 3 until we know that it's
Bravo there.
I mean, that game's coming out next month and everyone's excited about it. I don't think my PC will be able to run it. It looks gorgeous, but I would want to play that on one of the platforms. I mean, if it works on my PC, I'll get it because it looks amazing. I have the other 2 Witcher games in my Steam pile and I haven't touched them yet. I feel bad about that. But it's we can't give in to the pre-orders things. I don't think the pre-orders are bad, but there are situations where you absolutely should not pre-order. If anyone pre-orders a Ubisoft game after this, and I think Eric Kane actually wrote an article on saying you'd have to be a give or take, you'd have to be a goddamn idiot to pre-order Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Yeah, I think we can all agree. Nobody, I'm going to say this right now, and this is an objective statement. Nobody, for many, many reasons that we don't have time for, should. This goes into my question. So I'm gonna ask this question because I want to hear your guys' responses. Because I mean, Kat, if this is okay, because we have 20 minutes left. Okay, I want to know all 3 of your guys' answers to this. Knowing what we know now, having the discussion we had in the gaming industry now. We as gamers, we as consumers, where do we need to take this lesson learned of we stopped this thing because we basically voted with our wallets preemptively saying we will not pay for mods, and they took it down. Where does the gaming community need to focus their efforts next as consumers? My answer, and this is my very specific answer, nobody, even if you're hyped about the game, should pre-order Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, absolutely.
Not a single goddamn person should pre-order that.
There's still going to be that one person,
they're stupid.
Millions of people will probably.
After Battlefield? After the last Battlefield game.
After Battlefield Hardline, yeah. But yeah, that is my thing. I want people to take a stand and just say, do not pre-order Star Wars Battlefront. As excited as you are about it, that's what I want to see. What about you, Kat? Like, where do you want to see? Is it early access to Kickstarter? Like, what do you want? Where do you want gaming culture to focus?
Like their efforts of saying enough is enough.
Yeah, where could we affect change next, in your opinion?
Activism.
The best.
Financial activism.
Financial activism. Or restraint, as it were.
Yeah.
I almost want to say that for me personally, the whole Kickstarter thing needs to be like, I've been personally burned by that. But at the same time, when you look at Kickstarter, you're also looking at early access because the 2 of them kind of go hand in hand.
That's true.
With gaming, because not many people now kickstart games, they early access games. So paid early access to me, I don't think is really that great. I mean, there are a handful of games that it's Subnautica, 7 Days to Die, like Minecraft stuff that like that. Like, yeah, I took a big risk and went, okay, I will put money down on this. But the game could have essentially been like, you know what?
Where did you see Subnautica, though?
What?
Where did you see it?
You.
Right, and that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
is
that's exactly what I was...
Your research first. and were as impressed by the product and then bought it. You didn't just like, oh, this is a Steam Early Access game. I'm gonna buy this for $30, like whatever.
There's one Kickstarter game that's kind of its own problem, and that's Mighty Number 9. That game got an absurd amount of funding.
It's because it's Mega Man.
They had to add not just separate stretch goals, but separate campaigns for it. And I'm going to be honest with you, that game should look better. I've seen the preview footage. I've seen all of the updates, and I'm like, this game has millions of dollars put into it. Why
That's
does
a good
it look
one, Yasha.
so boring? Like, it just looks...
That's a really good one. Actually, can I change my answer? I'm changing my answer because fuck it.
Go back in.
Fuck it. I'm changing my answer. I want PC awareness. That is what I want. I want people to stop being like, hey, we're going to put this on console, and then 6 months later, we're going to put this on PC. God damn it, I want PC awareness. That is what I want.
Well,
Hashtag PC awareness.
Discussion about why it's not going to happen.
I mean, this is a whole nother discussion, consoles versus PC. We probably even had it before. I think that I do agree that, PC should probably get at least equal attention. Like, no more, like GTA 5 took so long to even get confirmed to be on PC. Red Dead Redemption never came to PC. I think that, and with consoles and PC using very, very similar architecture these days, there's really no reason why it shouldn't be on it. Now, I'm kind of sticking with the whole pre-order thing, just because not only is it something that, just hold off, just wait till the reviews, wait till people who have the early copies are able to stream it or are able to cover it, because then you'll know. Oh God, thank you for bringing up the Double Fine thing, Purple Hippo, because that is Double Fine, just boo Double Fine. I mean, it's just because they are wrecking their credibility as far as crowdfunding. Mighty Number 9 is a similar deal, but I think that just avoiding pre-orders isn't hard. I mean, that's the thing. You don't need to pre-order. I mean, if you get it at launch.
It's hard in that we've sort of perpetrated this consumerism culture where we need to pre-order. Like we've dug our own grave in this one, and to dig out is going to be work. And I honestly, and as much as we're challenging everyone here who's a gamer to do better, I honestly don't have high hopes that gaming culture is going to change anytime soon. But it's nice because if we change 5 people's opinions, at least we're, there's something. Tio, what about you? What do you want to see? What do you want to see different? Where do you want to see people?
We're making
money. I want to know.
Panic's making
Yo, I'm Tio Dog.
Tio Dog? Did you really call him Tio Dog?
Yo, I'm Tio Taga.
That's sticking.
You should talk like that even less than I should talk like that.
I shorten people's names. It's a terrible thing. I'm sorry.
No. We've called him that before. It's all good.
Yeah. Sorry, my mind just broke for a second.
I hate space. That's great.
It's better than Jeremy.
Purple Hippo.
Yeah, that one makes me
hate space. It's my never
bad experience in high school. Although in the end, come to think of it, it was worse with people who were tormenting me.
So I want you to hear your answer, but also I want to hear you go on a quick rant about what's on the 7 Days to Die forum.
Oh yeah.
About the mod. Yeah.
Well, I didn't really contribute to the discussion any. Honestly, I haven't contributed anything to those boards because you have to link your Steam account. I really don't want to do that. So, I just noticed that it was on there and I briefly read through the discussion. So I just kind of put it up there just to kind of corroborate and tie in, showing that, yeah, it is affecting a lot of other communities, not just the Skyrim community, because 7 Days to Die does launch through Steam. And they do have mods. It's very easy to mod that game. You just have to be able to modify text files. But, there was a whole huge discussion about disabling paid mods for the game. Like I said, I haven't really gotten burned yet. And I don't know if I'm just lucky or if I'm just good at picking what's going to be good and what's going to be shit. Probably a little column B. I mean, like 7 Days to Die, there was really nothing telling me that that was going to be better or worse than the rest of the games that I was looking at. There was nothing really to say, hey, you should pick this over Rust, you should pick this over the Forest, you should pick this over. I just went with it. And it seems to be working out okay. I enjoyed some games I played early access on, like ESO was fun. The main reason it ended up stopped being fun is because once you got to a certain point, kind of.
People are bitching at me about my mechanical keyboard. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, but like take it as a whole though. Like where do you, if you could tell, hey, gamer culture, all you guys, like focus on telling devs this one thing with your wallet, what would you want to see?
Spend, and I think I said it earlier in the cast. Sorry, allergies are going nuts today. I wish developers would spend more time on each game and not worry so much about getting it out to market as quickly as possible, because I think that's been a major problem with a lot of the Ubisoft games recently, because go look at Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. Those games had a ton of research, a ton of time. They had a very well put together storyline.
Black Flag even did. I love Black Flag.
Well, I haven't gotten it
Talked
yet.
about Assassin's Creed a lot.
I'm stuck on 3 because I keep ending up playing a game of Kill Whitey, because I too am of Irish and Native American ancestry. So
And notice that Unity
Can't
is
get
not
past
on
it.
my wall, because fuck Unity.
yeah, I haven't played it yet, and I probably won't, at least not until they, really fix it. But some people have said that Unity is just, they took a bad copy of like the second or 2.5 game, if that's how you want to look at Brotherhood, and put them in France, but they still have English accents even though they're in France. Yeah. I also saw some complaining on the forums about the Chronicles, the one that's in China. It's like they're not pronouncing these names right.
The funny thing about Chronicles is that everybody who plays Assassin's Creed that I know has been begging for, give me like a Shogun Ninja Kung Fu Assassin's Creed.
Take it out of Europe.
Give it to me now. And they're like, yeah, we're going to give you basically what's a mobile title. And we're going to set it in China. Like they looks like Ubisoft blew their load on the Far East on that, which sucks. And what you were saying earlier, like I've already been doing that. I don't play Black Ops because I think, again, this is a whole can of worms. I hate Black Ops games. I think they're poorly designed. I won't buy Treyarch games. So that's already putting Call of Duty at an every other year for me, and now every 3 years. Yeah. Because Sledgehammer's in the mix. Yeah. I didn't buy Ghosts. Like the last Call of Duty that I bought before AW was Modern Warfare 3 because I wanted to wrap up the series. I skipped Black Ops, I skipped Black Ops 2, I skipped Ghosts. And then Advanced Warfare was like, okay, it's been a good chunk of time. I'm ready for more Call of Duty. I want to see what this game had to offer. And I really liked Advanced Warfare. Like Titanfall Advanced Warfare did a lot to forward shooters because they took systems and they added movement and stuff like that. Game design discussion.
Go back to Modern Warfare after exosuits.
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely difficult. But now we have that gap. But now there's the reason Activision is doing that every they have 3 developers. Every one puts out 1 3 years. Because they want to put out one every year, but they realize that not one development studio can put out a game every year. So like I've taken that break. I've already taken T.O.'s lesson. Like just skip years. Don't play Unity. Don't play Black Ops. Don't play Modern Warfare. Don't play this developer's version of that game. Like you can do it. It just takes a little bit of self-control.
Take the time to build a game you want. I know I talk about it a lot, but it's the only game I've been having time to play lately, so crucify me. The head down version, because that seems like it'd be more entertaining. No one commented on that.
No,
anyway,
continue.
On 7 Days to Die, they're still in alpha stage. Like they are still planning on adding raiders, NPCs, quests, skill trees, all this stuff. But the game as it stands right now is completely playable. It is basically high resolution Minecraft with zombies on fucking steroids.
I think
they can eventually break through anything. But what it's designed to do in the future is that's just going to be the early game threat. the mid and long-term threat is the raiders and the NPCs and, trying to build tech trees and stuff like that. So it's nice to see that they are taking time to get each step right. Like, they have spent, I don't know how long since it originally started, but, I've got 443 hours in the game right now, and it's just the early game stuff. I get in, I build a fortress, I survive. When I get to the point where the zombies are no longer a threat, I start over.
I think that's a good point. If you are going to do early access, spend a good amount of time to really get a lot of input and be able to fine tune everything. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games that have had very, very long development up till full release, like Minecraft, are usually the ones that end up having the best quality at the end.
Again, we come back around to it. Subnautica, Kat, you can press F8 and there's a feedback form. You can submit a bug, you can submit a request, you can submit and you go to Subnautica's
and
page.
It's achievement.
Yeah, you can go to their page and you can look at they have an entire page of the community submitted bugs. They have Let's Plays the developers. They have requests. They have like all of their development cycle. They have staff, but most of their beta and their bug fixing, all that stuff is open where you can see everything they're working on, and it's done by the community because they've managed to cultivate that culture of like, we want you guys to help us make the game that you want. Now, so like you said, if you buy an early access game, Alex, first of all, do your research, watch it on Twitch, do YouTube reviews. Don't just fucking buy it because you're wasting money at that point. And you're encouraging developers to do bad things. Also, don't just play an early access game and then never play the final release. Play the early access game. If you find a bug, submit the goddamn bug. Like, this is from a former QA tester. Like, help make the game better. And then when it comes out, I guarantee there's tons of people who are not going to ever go back to Darkest Dungeon because they feel like they've already played the game. Which is the sad truth of early access, but just like help. It's early access so that you can help make a good game, and you need to do that as a consumer. And we all need.
There was a lot of that in Secret World. There was a lot of feedback. Good Lord, how many bug reports did I submit? At first, it was like about every 2 or 3 minutes. It's like, oh, that's broken.
Yeah.
If there's one game that is going to get me to break my early access hymen, it is probably going to be
not original. I wanted, man. I didn't
make that up. I didn't make that. Was someone else's.
I need some brain bleach right now.
It would probably be Audio Surf 2. That's probably the only game that would come close. I haven't done it yet, but I'm still kind of in a situation where I'm not tempted enough to put money now. If it turns out to be good when it's full released, I'll get it then.
I think I liked beta testing and alpha testing more when it was like tabletop games or large games.
Yeah.
Like
well, also,
the Resin Files RPG. That was a blast to beta test.
Also, my gripe with beta, though, and a lot of this early access things,
is because they're starting to use beta as early access.
As early access and stuff like that. Because if you're going to beta, and I'm sure Panic can agree with this, if you're going to beta something, submit reports. Like, don't just treat it like, hey, look, I got an early access. Oh my god, I'm just going to play the game. And then it's like 2 seconds later, it's like, oh, this is a bug. No, I'm not going to report it because I'm enjoying the game. No, you're a beta tester. You are in there to figure out what the fuck
There's
is
a lot
wrong.
of rhetoric that gets tossed around.
And
well, I remember on the Secret World forums, people were like, well, this is. It's like, you guys do know what a beta is, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've got one friend who beta tested ESO and decided he didn't want to play it because of that one beta weekend, and it's like it was one of the first beta weekends.
Yeah,
it's completely different now.
Yeah, I mean, ESO
beta
though,
is beta.
There are some games that, I mean,
ESO,
Diablo 3 that is never gotten out of beta. Like,
ESO was a fine game until you got to veteran levels, and that's where the game fell apart, because that's where the storyline fell apart, that's where the new upgraded mechanics fell apart, that's where the incentive to level fell apart.
Well, also, I don't think they did very well on implementing the high level stuff with people in beta.
Although I have had to go back to it because now I can level through stealing shit from people.
Yeah.
Fencing it. That's an awesome mechanic, and I can help people get beat down by guards. I'm happy now.
If it takes you literally 2 months to get to what would be considered max level, and you have a group of beta testers, literally put them to max level. Like, don't just be like, oh, you have to spend these 2 months.
Had that big glowing, like, androgynous dude that hung out in Agartha that you could just walk up to on a test server, and he would just give you levels, give you potions. Give you
which is cool. But that
go test whatever.
That should be done, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
That should be done in the development stages. Like beta, and this is just my opinion, having worked in QA for almost 2 years. Beta should be stress testing and heat mapping and watching player behavior. Yes, give a select few of them the ability to test the high-end stuff, but if you're only getting to that point and you're already in beta or early access, you've dropped the ball already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be completely honest, like I think not that we're going in circles, but like we can keep giving examples all day. I think I'm getting the nod from Kat. Like, what's the takeaway? First of all, we did it Reddit. Like, good job, you guys stopped Valve from making you have to pay for Skyrim and TF2 and all these other mods, but like,
I wasn't going to pay for any of it.
But people were going to. That's the thing, is that people would have done it, and you guys stopped that. But now, like, I think this exposes a larger issue of how do we then go from here, saying, well, we can obviously effects change, but what happens next? My vote, like I said earlier, to wrap my vote up, don't fucking pre-order Star Wars Battlefront. Just don't do it.
You have to be crazy to do that.
Don't do it. As much as it's Star Wars, as much as you want to, put your glow in the dark condom on and beat off and pretend you're a Jedi, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
See, at this point, I wouldn't comes out anything with the Star Wars on it because,
the whole Star Wars thing.
Episode 1 and how many things have come out with the Star Wars?
We can totally go on this rant forever, but I do want to make sure this can go on YouTube, so we have to keep this with under 2 hours.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
By the way, thank you, Kat. I mean, I know we're just going to start wrapping up. I don't want to step on your toes later when you're saying your goodbyes. Thank you for having me on as a guest.
You're welcome.
I really, really, really liked being here.
Well, speaking of, awesome. You have a total of 2 minutes. Tell us who you are, where we can find you, your information. I currently have all information below, but it's nicer to kind of say, hey, this is who I am.
Give my spiel. All right. I'm PanikKontrol. I don't need 2 minutes. I'm PanikKontrol. You guys, you can find me on twitch.tv/PanikKontrol. You can find me on youtube.com/PanikKontrol TV. Just got to add TV on the end. If you guys have any questions or anything I talk about today you want to talk, I'm also always open. You can find me on my channel on Twitch, or you can email me, panikkontroltv@gmail.com. I'm also very active on Twitter. You can find me just @PanikKontrol on Twitter. I'm Variety Caster here on Twitch, full-time, not partnered yet, but my community has graced me with the ability to be able to do this full-time. A lot of them are here right now. They're amazing people. I'm a former game QA tester gone Twitch caster. I try to get into the nuts and bolts of games, but we also have fun. I'm currently playing Dark Souls, Bashi, Rocksmith, Subnautica, some other random survival games, and Elite Dangerous right now. Obviously, those get rotated as we beat games, but I mean, if the last 2 hours hasn't convinced you guys to either follow my channel or check me out on Twitter, then nothing I can say has, there's how to access me. I hope to see you guys in my channel real soon, and I'll definitely see you on Kat's channel playing Cards Against Humanity or in a raid. So thank you, again, thank you, chat. You guys are fucking awesome, and thank you, Kat, for having me on this little //chat thing, whichever direction the slash goes.
It's just called /chat.
/chat. All right.
/chat. Alex.
Yeah, you can find me on Postmasmeric. Every Monday we do Persona 4 streaming. We're still 50 hours into that game, man, and we still aren't even. I swear, I don't even think we're halfway through. Saturday we're gonna keep going with Beyond Good and Evil HD. Definitely check out not just my channel, which is youtube.com/Postmasmeric, but please go to this channel that I'm putting in there. That is my friend Matt's channel. That is where we do all of our co-op Let's Plays. We just started the new Shadows of the Damned Let's Play. We're gonna try and keep that updated throughout the week. We're planning to get one episode of each Let's Play, each of the 3 main Let's Plays per week. So I think it's like one of each Let's Play episode per week. hardcoregamer.com. Follow me on Twitter. Most of you probably already do, but we got a lot today. So if any of you people didn't subscribe to me on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, please do that. Because I'm sure a lot of you are new faces because we got like almost 50 people in right now.
Teal'ger.
I really don't do the whole social media thing, so yeah, there's not much to say on that front. I'm actually on the boards at the RPF, but it is literally THERPF.com. There's a lot of cool people on there doing a lot of fun things with 3D printers and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So if you want to go and buy cool stuff from them and support them, that'd be awesome. Hopefully I will have more stuff up for Twitch, YouTube, and Etsy within the next month or two, but that's going to kind of depend on how much work I can get done because I'm Iron Man. Okay, I'm done.
I just put my Twitch in there.
Yeah, but mine's metal.
Mine has a problem with the graphite. I'll just say that.
Will it be a discount on the next 10,000?
Yeah.
Kat doesn't watch me when I do Persona stream. She doesn't like Persona.
I feel bad that I can quote that.
Kat, we have a lot of people in here from my channel. You should plug yourself.
Oh, I
Yeah, plug
do.
yourself in.
All the time.
Ready, set, go.
Every night.
Are you being dirty?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like...
That's where I assumed she was going.
Cave of Wonders. Cave of Wonders.
Welcome to the cat cave.
Hello, I am Almir, also known as Kat. Welcome to my channel. For more of me, you can find me on YouTube at Powa Button. For just socials, you can find me on Twitter. Sorry. Don't be a twat and follow me on Twitter.
Twatter.
Twatter. At Almirmiel. I'm here on Twitch.tv as a variety caster, though primarily this week I will be playing Final Fantasy XIV.
She twittered herself and came all over Facebook.
Yeah. No Facebook. No Facebook. But yeah.
She came
So.
all over her Facebook.
Oh. But yes.
All right.
Welcome those of you from the Panic Room. Hello everyone. I know several of the names in here from checking out from Panic's channel. So hello everyone. Thank you for stopping in and thank you for watching /chat today. I will be live again in roughly an hour with some more Final Fantasy XIV if the servers are still up. And I think Panic, you're going live like right after this, right?
In like as soon as I can get it up.
Well,
they make this pill for that.
I don't need it.
I hear it tastes like blueberry.
Well.
Okie dokie. So that has been our episode of /chat podcast. If you want more conversation, feel free to tweet us. Feel free to send us messages, and we can continue this conversation out on the interwebs, or in an hour, whether it be Panic's channel or my channel. So thank you guys. Have a good night, and we shall talk to you again next week. Bye.
Bye.